Good afternoon, everybody, and how are you doing? I'd like to welcome you to today's information session on the Zambia FinTech4U Accelerator Programme, which is a program brought to you in part through the partnership of UNCDF, Bongo Hive, the Bank of Zambia, Zambia Information Communications Technology Agency, and the Securities and Exchange Commission. Together, we're working together to support businesses that are starting up in the, that solve problems within the financial sector or solve challenges within the financial sector using technology. So today's information session will go through an introduction to the program itself. This is the second cohort that we're running for the program. So just to remind people about what the objectives of the program are and why we've come together to do that. And then we'll talk about the process of applying for the program and getting into the program before we finally take some questions and close off around, hopefully around, we plan to close off around 5 minutes to 4 o'clock so that people can get back and get through it. A reminder that applications have been open and they close on the coming Sunday. And so that's why we thought that this information session could gives you an opportunity to get information and get any questions that you wanted answered around the thing. So in introduction, my name is Simon Zambiangana. I'm Director of Entrepreneurship at Bongo Hive. With me today is Kiliani Kanjo, who is a DFS consultant at UNCDF. Yes, I should know how to pronounce that better. I agree, and but I'll take the bite and pass it on to her. And so, hi, Kili, how are you doing?
Good afternoon, Simonza. I'm fine, and thank you for butchering my name.
Apologies.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Like Simonza says, my name is, it's actually pronounced Kilelan Kanjo, but everybody calls me Kile. Like Simonza said, we have been running this cohort since actually early this year. So this is the second one. My job this afternoon is simply just to explain to you guys why we're actually running a FinTech4U program, accelerated program. The reason why is because we were looking as UNCDF, we launched what we call our strategy called Leaving No One Behind in the Digital Era. But whilst we launched the strategy, we're also looking at who should we work with, especially in Zambia, to support how do we build digital economies and how do we provide financial services or access to financial services, not just to a group of Zambians, but all Zambians, as well as to also help improve livelihoods. And we know that as a UN, we can't work alone, so we always work through partnerships. So looking at the many conversations that we had with Bongo Hive, so Bongo Hive happened to be our very strong partner in this game, and we're looking at what Bongo Hive actually does in terms of the work that they do with fintechs, and fintechs are an area of interest to us. We're looking at the fintechs, we're looking at the entrepreneurship that they offer, the programs, and we thought that we and them make a perfect partnership to actually come up with a fintech program for you. Now, why are we looking at this? Like I said, digital economy. Now, to build digital economies, the fintechs actually come up with the right products and services that are actually addressing needs, not just one, but different needs. I'm not saying that it's going to be one fintech that is going to be addressing all needs. And we're also looking at how Zambia is actually more advanced than some of the surrounding countries within this space. So we're looking at also the issues that what do Zambians actually face in terms of problems, in terms of real how we're able to address the real issues in the economy. Now, in understanding the fintechs, we also understand that fintechs also have challenges. Some of the challenges, of course, I'm going to mention a few. You actually see some of the slides are not exhaustive. There are more. So one of them also happens to be that most of the times when fintechs are actually coming up with products and services, they are not addressing a need. And when I mean a need that a customer actually have. So we're looking at how can we help you understand what are the real challenges that your customers actually face? So these are some of the works we actually work on together with Bongo Hive. Some of the issues that we also came to find out, and this is based on a FinTech scoping mission that we actually did here in 2018, was also that most FinTechs actually do not have the ability to actually test and pilot their innovation. They are good, yes, but you have not been able to test them, and you haven't been able to have a chance to actually test them with real life people. So these are the things that as you're going through the program, you actually learn how to do that. Simonza, the next slide. And some of the, including, like I said, there are many, many challenges. There was also inability for most of the FinTechs actually to plug in bigger DFS players. We actually have so many on the market, but when a FinTech actually wants to be able to partner with a DFS player, it's actually a problem. So we're actually looking at how do we help you plug into bigger players? How do we help you to have that conversation? Navigating the regulatory space is an issue for FinTechs. It's not an issue for the FinTechs in Zambia, but most of the countries. So we're also looking at how can we help you navigate better? It doesn't matter which regulator that you're actually working with. Simon's already mentioned in the beginning, we have partnered with a Bank of Zambia. We have partnered with ZIC. We actually have partnered with SEC, but we're also looking at more partnerships with other regulators that you can actually fit into, or where your products actually fit into. We're also looking at matching existing as well as potential mechanism when it comes to investors. Do you have investors that are already on the ground? How can we match you to whether it's an angel investor, whether it is, we're looking at Series A, Series B. These are the things that we're actually looking at together with Bongo Hive as we move with the program, as well as also lack of global mentorship. FinTechs actually need to have mentorships. And this is key because as you move forward, as you grow, you need to actually have all these mentorships in place that can help you navigate the system. But most importantly, we are looking at how do we address these challenges together. It will not be left to Bongo Hive alone. It's not left to UNCDF alone, but together as we partner, how do we help you face these challenges as we move forward? Now, what is the FinTech4U Accelerator Programme? This is a program that has been designed that is going to be running for 3 months. These 3 months is the 3 months that you actually have to take classes every day, every week, not every day, excuse me, every week that we're going to be informed and assigned. And also to specifically talk about the products and services that you actually have. Simonza is going to touch on those. The Accelerator Program is going to be, we started this year, but we're looking at 20 businesses. So last cohort, we only had 5. This time around, we're actually looking at increasing the number of FinTechs to 15. So for those that would be lucky to actually join, so I'm saying that 15 is a good number to actually have. We're going to start on the 7th of September, and it's all going to run all the way to 10th of December 2020 this year. Afterwards, of course, there's also an extension to the program that Simonza is going to touch on, that we're not just going to leave you behind after the 3 months, we're also going to provide some services afterwards. And this one has been designed for entrepreneurs. We're looking at FinTechs, we're looking at digital financial services that want to be able to scale, to pilot, also just want to be able to talk about the business environment as well as the business model, not only within Zambia, but also throughout the regional market. So I want to pass it over to Simonza right now to be able to let you know what are the objectives of the program. Over to you, Simonza.
Thank you very much, Kili. And as I step into the objectives, I would like to encourage anybody who has questions. If you are with us on, on platforms like Facebook or Zoom, please feel free to add to the comments, or if you're on Zoom, use the question and answer section to get any questions that you have. There are people who are, whilst Kili and I are presenting this to you, there are people who will answer any questions that you have whilst we're still having the presentation, and then we'll also handle some question and answers at the end of the program. So So the idea is really we've existed, as organizations, we've existed to support businesses that actually address challenges. And whilst Bongo Hive works with startups, UNCDF has done amazing work over the last few years working with fintech companies in Zambia and supporting them through growth. And these are fintech companies that you all love and respect, that they've actually been able to connect with, and they've got the relationships to be able to do that. At Bongo Hive, we like to say that we work with great minds building viable solutions that change the world. And within that statement of great minds, we always keep to our heart that it's a case of entrepreneurs, experts, mentors, and investors. And to be able to have the access to the expertise that comes in from UNCDF, we count them amongst the great minds that are helping the entrepreneurs, and we can bring in mentors and investors to make that complete and help you build the companies. So the idea here is to support businesses to develop relevant digital solutions, especially those that address finance and digital commerce, and improve the livelihoods of women and youth who are customers, but also develop playbooks that also make it easier for future fintechs to get entry into the market by understanding what regulators actually seek for. So as we've been doing this, we've had we continue to have meetings with the regulators around how do we develop playbooks that allow fintechs to then understand the requirements they have if they're setting up a fintech in Zambia, and also that supports them through the journey of customer discovery, product development, getting the partnerships that they need across through the journey of building a fintech. So some of the benefits that we'll be able to provide the fintechs whilst they're in the program is that whilst the program runs, there'll be support for the new businesses to support them through the program to get them to thrive, additional technical assistance from experts, mentors, and other people. And then the top 3 fintechs in the program. So whilst we have opened it up to 15 fintechs to then participate in the second cohort, the top 3 fintechs at the end of the program will each receive $5,000 each as a seed investment into their companies. Additional benefits include 3 months in the program plus 3 months additional business support as needed. Guidance from UNCDF in various areas of your business, including human-centered design, data analytics, connections with the relevant regulators who've partnered on the program and have got a deep interest in seeing fintechs thrive, like the Bank of Zambia, the Zambia Information Communications Technology Agency, and the Securities and Exchange Commission. You will also get, in addition to this, we are partners with EY Zambia, who are happy to provide advice around what your understanding of what the tax and compliance issues regulations would be for your fintech. We get legal advice from Musa Dudi and Company. If you need a place to work during the program, starting September, the companies that are in the program will be welcome to use co-working space from Bongo Hive at Bongo Hive, using with access to internet from Liquid Telecom and MTN Zambia. Because you're fintechs, we understand that your technology, access to infrastructure is something that's important. So we have a partnership with Amazon AWS, on which we can give each fintech that is in the program up to $5,000 worth of credit to allow you to do your hosting on Amazon's platform for the next 2 years. And we've also got through Liquid Telecom access to Microsoft Azure. Classes every week on business modeling and making sure that you understand what it takes to actually get your company off the ground. One-on-one business advisory sessions, which we encourage you to attend. Accounting and finance, access to our accountants to work on shaping up your books and make sure that by the time you're starting to talk to investors, you've got things in place. And then access to mentors within town. Over the last few years, we've built relationships with various business leaders in this country who are happy to mentor companies. And then throughout every year, we introduce companies that we work with to funding opportunities when investors come looking for companies to invest in. If there are opportunities to promote your company or opportunities to travel, I don't know about this year based on COVID, but when there are opportunities to travel for people who are looking for companies to work with, we also make those introductions. And like I mentioned, access to co-working space for the next thing. And also evaluation of your company. If you're seeking investment, we will support you getting evaluation for your company so that you understand what the needs are for your company, what the status of your company is, so that when you're negotiating with investors, you've got some idea of what the valuation of your company is. So who can apply for the program? To apply for the program, you must be a fintech, and we've defined fintech as a business that uses technology, to address, to bring a new product or service into the market with a model that addresses the financial services sector. And we do not mind if the end customer is a consumer, a business, or a government. So you could be in the B2G, B2B, or B2C category. All are welcome. In addition to this, you must have a minimum viable product. A lesson that something picked up from the last cohort, and why a lot of businesses did not make it into the top. A lot of them didn't make it to the top, was the number of businesses that did not have a minimum viable product. So this is just the first version of a product that at least allows the people who will be selecting the companies to see what you have and then decide that you have gone to them. If you're still at idea stage, we encourage you to either apply to get into Discover or the FinTech challenges that we have been running. Those are best suited for you. But if you already have a minimum viable product that you have put together, then it works there for you to work with, for you to get into the FinTech4U program, to apply to get into the FinTech4U program. You should have been running, you should have been running for at least 3 months to 3 years. If you still don't have your compliance, that's fine. That's why we've got the program. It's our job to help you get to that engagement with the regulators to be able to do that. But at least we know that you have been established for a minimum of 3 months. Your ambitions as well, how you've found an opportunity that is similar to an opportunity outside of Zambia as well, and you recognize that you've got a market potential outside of Zambia. We're not saying that you want to start in the next year, but you can point out, say that this customer segment that you're addressing is a similar customer segment that exists outside of Zambia in another country, so that once you've firmed up your business here, you could potentially explore getting into the next into another country. Can demonstrate some sort of market traction. So within the 3 months, have you had some testing of some platform, or have you talked to customers, or have you had some conversations? Have you got some proof that shows that the potential customers that you're willing to onboard agree that your solution will actually solve that problem? And then you've got a consideration that your business can potentially serve and include traditionally underserved populations that include rural communities, women, and youth. If you have any questions around clarity around that, please pop them in the question and answer sessions or in the comments. So how do you apply? You can apply by visiting the website fintech4u.co.zm. Click on the word application, which will take you to an application process, which will get you to register an account on the platform F6S. So F6S is a platform that we use for all our applications to go through. And on that platform, there's the Zambian FinTech4U Accelerator application. You can also ask questions whilst you're going through that platform. The beauty about the F6S platform is that if you feel like you need to change the answer you've applied, and you feel like you need to go back and change them change your answers before the deadline, you're welcome to do so before the deadline. But at midnight on Sunday, the system will automatically close and stop accepting applications. There are various questions within there that you can fill in. You can take time to answer those, put in information around who your team members are, the challenges you believe that you're addressing, and then why you believe your company should be accepted to get into the program. It automatically saves the system automatically saves your information even if you haven't finished the form. So let's say you answer 5 questions and then you say, okay, great, I'll come back and answer the following questions after I go and get some clarity with my team members, the system automatically saves your answers. And like I said, if you do need to update your answers and go and make changes, you are welcome to do that until the application process closes. So, a reminder, FinTech4U Accelerator is currently accepting applications. It's a period we started on the 29th of June 2020. Deadline closes on the 26th of July, which is Sunday at 23:59 hours. Midnight, the system midnight Zambian time, the system automatically closes, and we will no longer accept applications after that moment. So in that period, what will then happen is that we will accept, we will then go through a process of selecting the companies that get into the program. And then between the 28th of July to the 21st of August. And then we will then, within that program, around 7th of September, start the program until the 10th of December, in which, correction there, 3 winners will then get at the end of the program, after judges have selected 3 winners, will get $5,000 each, in addition to support that all the companies that are in the program will get. So what we're then looking at is that once the program runs, we now encourage you to then go through the application process. Sign up at FinTech4U.com. That's the address that we encourage you to get to, and apply to get into the program. We will now take your questions. So I have a question from, let's see, I have a question in the chat box here, which is from Innocent Sokol. Does having a viable business mean you need to have an already working system, or a demo of the system will suffice for you to qualify? So a demo of the system will qualify. It has to at least show that it has a minimum viable product, has to at least be functional enough for a customer to at least give you some information. We're not asking for the full system. We're asking for you to give the minimum that at least the customer understands what you're trying to do, and they can indicate that they're interested in purchasing your solution, or they can go through a process of purchasing your solution and starting to engage you. Just give me a second. I'm trying to get access to your questions. All right. Steka Kapepula asks, I have an idea for a project, and due to work commitments, I have been unable to work on it. Can I pass the project to Bongo Hive to develop and remain as a shareholder in the business that will be created? We are not operators in the sense that we will run the business for you. If you would like to talk about developing the platform, that's a conversation that you could have with our consult team around developing the platform, and we can talk about, they would tell you what that would cost and what the considerations around that. Preferably a team of entrepreneurs would run the business. If you're unable to work on the business, maybe it's not time for you to be starting a business, and that's also a consideration that you might be willing to take. Andrew Tesha asks, will the second cohort be virtual or mostly physical based on what is currently happening with COVID-19? That's a very good and very valid question. Given the current situation, what happened was Corona got into Zambia whilst we're running the last cohort. And if you ask people who participated in the last cohort, towards the end of the program, we ended moving the program virtually. So the second cohort will be a completely virtual program. Yeah, the classes will not happen at Bongo Hive, and given the numbers as they stand at the moment, we do not see ourselves running the program in the offices this year. That is the FinTech4U program at the offices this year. Does Bongo Hive take any equity through the program? No. Bongo Hive, UNCDF, Bank of Zambia, the Securities Exchange Commission, and ZICTA will not take equity in your companies through the program. Can an applicant be pre-revenue but still qualify under the market traction criteria by showing significant market validation? Yes, you can, Andrew. You need to prove that customers are willing to engage you. So you can be pre-revenue in the sense that customers are not paying you yet, but you can show that customers have indicated interest or are already using the platform. That is one way of proving your minimum viable product. Blessed Mwanza is asking, what if you partly applied last year and did not complete the application prior to the due date? Is the slot still open? If you did not get into cohort 1, we encourage you to apply to get into cohort 2. And especially if you've continued to work on your product or service from the time that you applied to get into cohort 1, we still encourage you to apply to get into cohort 2. So please go to F6S, fill out the form and apply. You cannot use the application form that you used last time. F6S will allow you to make a new application form, to fill in a new application form, but just please do so before the deadline. Are there any comments, Kili, that you'd like to make on anything so far?
Only one. I like the question of whether everything is going to be done virtually. Yes, it will be done virtually, but we're also looking at the time from that. By the time that the cohort, the time in class is coming to an end, you will need to actually go out in the market and to do some iteration on your product. So that aspect cannot be done virtually, unless your product is a virtual thing where people don't have to actually meet up with you. But for you to iterate on your product, to actually see whether your business model is going to change, whether your product design, you will need to be out in the field. But that is a bridge that we're willing to cross when we get to it. So right now, the focus is just on the class part, which is what someone will say, or virtual. So after we close in December, then we can discuss how we move forward.
Yes, thank you for that reminder.
What that actually, I see where you're actually saying you didn't finish last year. Please go ahead, finish, like Smooth said, go ahead, finish. Last year is now and void. This time around, you have all the chances to get it.
Yeah. And like we mentioned, this time last time we picked 5, this time we're picking 15. So there's an opportunity here for you to get into the program based on the 15 spaces that we're now making. So we've actually made the acceptance into the program wider. Looking at the BOS regulations, Chamu Mchinshi is asking, looking at the BOS regulations, will having the licenses, payment system license be a prerequisite? No, it's not a prerequisite for qualification to the program. If you have a license, that's very good. But if you do not have a license, that will not be a qualifier. We do not mark you on whether or not you have a license. Part of the program process is to help you get a license, is to help you meet the regulator so that we can assist you through the process of getting a license. Still taking answers, still taking any questions that you may have. Stephen is asking, my question is similar to the one you have already responded to, but we are still looking for funds to work on the prototype. Are we eligible to participate? You can apply, and the process will, during the process, we'll look at whether or not you have an MVP. I would encourage you to apply during the process. If you do have an MVP, that's great. I mean, there's still other qualifying factors that we'll look at, but that's just one of them. If you're at idea stage, like I said, I would encourage you to apply to get into Bongo Hive's Discover program or any of the FinTech challenges that we run if you're still working on the idea. George, do we have any questions from Facebook? Or Marita?
There are some questions in the chat. I don't know if you've seen any.
Oh, there's some questions in the chat. Okay, great. Let me have a look at those.
Yes.
All right. As a follow-up to the previous question, if I think, what's the question? Give me a second. I need to find the questions here. As a follow-up to the previous question, if our organization is currently not digital yet, but we do have clients from our previous model, which has which was office-based, does that still count as being viable? Proof of customers is a good thing. The critical question is, when will you go digital? If you're not digital, you're not a fintech. Well done, you've grown a good business, but at what point are you going towards digital? Do you have plans to get digital, and how soon can you get digital? All those things actually count, because this program is designed to support fintechs. Will the cohort consider time? Unless, do you have a comment on that, Kili?
No. For me, fintech, there has to be aspect of digital to it. So I think what you responded to is correct. So we will need to figure out, like, what do you want to do? If it's just a business, I think someone's already has alluded that there are others that you can actually be part of, discover, you know. But this one, you have to be a fintech. Oh, and there's a question also in the chat. What is the Bongo Hive Discover Program? I think you want to answer that.
The Bongo Hive Discover Program is Zambia's Bongo Hive's pre-accelerator program that helps entrepreneurs who have new ideas to validate their idea and understand who the market is, the potential that they're going to, and then formulate the idea around that. This program runs every 2 months. There's one currently running this week. And if you'd like to apply for the next program, just pop us an email at contact@bongohive.co.zm, or contact us on Facebook, Twitter, or any other platforms that we're on as Bongo Hive, and we'll gladly give you more information on the Discover program. It's a great help for people who had an idea and haven't yet started yet, because then it guides you through the process of what you need to work on to get your idea off the ground. There's a question, Chumunya Monga, what if someone has a concept note for a product development but no IT platform, can they apply to participate? Great with the concept. An MVP is definitely necessary. We do not know if a concept note will qualify as a minimum viable product. So a minimum viable product that your customers can interact with. If your customers can interact with your concept note, I would encourage you to apply. I have doubts, but I think that's for you to gauge. Can a company that recently pivoted this year in response to the pandemic still apply? Yes, you can. That's fine. If you as a business found an opportunity in the finance space and you pivoted towards that, that is fine. As long as you address something within the financial, as long as you address a challenge in the finance sector. And when we address a challenge within the finance sector, it could be a challenge for your customers, it could be a challenge for a business, or it could be a challenge for governments. We're fine with that. All right, well, I'll take it that there are possibly no more questions, and we will then, at 15:40, 20 minutes to spare, unless you've got, you're not rushing into putting in questions, we will then consider this session closed. The good thing is you can go back and watch it for any information that you're looking for, because it will still be up on Facebook. And in addition to this, if you visit the website, you are welcome to contact us and ask any questions. If you're on F6S, please feel free to contact us and ask questions before Sunday. We are happy to help you. If any of the sections in the form are not clear, we will always respond to you and give you some clarity around those. So looking forward, we love helping startups, and we're looking forward to onboarding some of you into the program. Thank you very much.
Simonza, my internet had kicked me off for a minute. There's a question here where I'm not sure, did you respond? It says, can a company that recently pivoted this year because of a pandemic still apply? Did you respond to that already?
Yes, I did. I said that if a business found an opportunity to provide a financial service because of COVID, that is fine. As long as it qualifies as a digital financial service, we are totally fine. That's totally fine for you to apply. Dominic has asked, what are the advantages and benefits of going digital for a money lending company? That's for you to tell us. There are advantages, and there are many advantages to being able to do that. But I think that's a great opportunity for you to tell us whether the advantages are reach, whether the advantage is efficiencies within your company, whether it's efficiencies. There are many advantages. It really depends on the business model that you are developing, and that's something that we will look for in your application to get into the program. Applicants restricted to only one MVP for the FinTech4U Accelerator Program. So you can apply for. So how can I put it? A startup is usually based around a product, and what that product is what applies to get into the program. So if you as a company run 3 different products and they're 3 different FinTech products, we would take applications for each product separately. So I'd advise you to possibly choose your best one. But if you're dealing with 2 MVPs, we deal with them as separate products and potentially 2 different startups. So then we treat those as 2. You would need to make an application for each one separately. It usually works it can get confusing if you try to layer all your products into one application, because then it becomes for a number of factors, including focus on who your customer is and where your opportunity for growth is. It then becomes, what are you trying to solve? Which pain point are you trying to solve, and where you're going to focus on? And that's a decision that you need to make as a company if you're applying. What are your thoughts around that, Kili?
Agreed. I would also say that as you're applying for this product, for this program, you also need to go back to what was actually put in the application. What are we looking for? So is your product addressing a need of a certain group? Because there are target groups that your product has to be able to respond to. So that's one of the things. So you have to be able to match the 2, whether your MVP is actually speaking to what we actually have asked for in the application. And yes, you may have several MVPs, but I would want to believe that in the early stages of a startup fintech, you will want to be able to focus on one, because this is also an area where we also need to be able to help you with. We can't help you with all of them. We'll have to focus on one. For you to actually grow, we have to focus on one that you think that it has the ability to be able to scale in the market, and we'll take with that one, and we're going to run with that one together with you guys. But you cannot be all. So pick one that you think is the best chance, and the one that you think is actually responding to the needs probably of most, or it's ticking most of the boxes, and that will be the winner for you. I think that would be my advice.
Yes. So the focus is on supporting you to accelerate a product in the market. So pick the one that is potentially the most viable or has the opportunity to grow, to address a problem worth solving in the market, or stands the best chance against its competition, that has the most unique value proposition. Those are the things I would encourage you to look for with the one that you're going to pick. Our colleague or partner here, Mali, has got something to say.
Oh, good afternoon. It was just a quick word of advice to applicants. not to wait until the last minute, please, to get on FS6 and submit the application. You know, power, internet, all those kinds of things get in the way and affect our application processes. So please get in early with your questions if you have any questions for us, and apply as soon as you can. Don't wait till the last minute. Thanks.
I agree with Mali. It's get your information together, get your team together, start filling in the slots, and like I mentioned, at least look at the questions, start filling them in. If you're having conversations around them, do that this week, so that by the time you submit, hopefully by Friday, Saturday, you know what you want to say, how you want to pitch yourself. So as an encouragement to everybody who's applying to get into the program, and if you've already applied, and that's why we say you can go back and look at the potential. So here are a couple of tips around applications that I would. One, get straight to the point. You do not get extra points for being wordy, and try not to use jargon. Whilst yes, we care about financial inclusion, please do not tell me that please do not tell us that your customer cares about financial inclusion, because we have never met a customer that says, I'm looking for financial inclusion. Use the language that your customers use, and be very straight to the point to what you solve and how you actually help your customers, solve their challenges, or how you actually provide, more important, how you actually provide value to your customers. Then what the market potential is, get straight to the numbers around that. Don't fluff around. Don't try to make it mysterious, or try to. We are working with experts in the financial sector space, so understand that if you're being vague, they can see through. They can see through the fact that you're being vague. So be very straight to the point with what it is that you're trying to do, where you're going to get to, and how you can actually help. How you can actually help customers, and what the opportunity for growth is. So this is an opportunity for you to sell yourself. So this is marketing. Use your best marketing language. You get straight to the point and sell yourself. Usually that's what gets people through pitches. That's what gets people through that. It's being able to be very concise, straight to the point, and define and define themselves. So sometimes you'll find that you are restricted in certain questions with what type of answer you can give. That is intentional, so that you can get straight to the point. And if you can do that throughout your whole application process, we found that from my experience, when not only with Bongo Hive, but I participate in selecting entrepreneurs for other programs as well, not just Bongo Hive, these are international programs as well. We usually find that the more wordy, the more, if you're writing essays in there, it gets confusing, and the likelihood of us understanding what it is that you're actually trying to do reduces your chances of actually getting into a program. But anybody who's actually getting to people who actually get to the point more directly, it helps everybody understand what the pain point is, what your solution is, what the market opportunity is, how you're going to do it, who's the team that can get together, what the skills on your team are, and all the points that actually then say that you're a winning solution that can make it in the market. All right, so with that said, unless there are, let me just quickly check if there are any questions. No, I don't see any more questions. So with that, we're going to wrap this up and look forward to seeing your applications on after Sunday. So all the best, and keep in touch with us.
Okay, so from UNCDF, we look forward to receiving your applications, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you.